Have you ever wondered what would happen if one day the entire world stopped using cash credit cards or even traditional bank transfers and instead started using just one digital currency? Imagine buying coffee in Paris, paying rent in Tokyo, or trading goods across borders, all using the same digital coin, not a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, which swings wildly in price, but something stable, fast, and reliable. That currency might be something like USDC, a digital dollar issued by a private US company. One USDC always equals one US dollar. It doesn't change in value. But if the entire world started using it, not just for investing, but for everything, what kind of world would that be? Would it be more connected or more controlled? Would it be better or much, much stranger? USDC is a new kind of money. It's digital, it's global, and most importantly, it's stable. Unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum, USDC doesn't jump up and down in price. One USDC always equals one US dollar. No surprises, no crashes. But here's where it gets really powerful. With USDC, you can send money anywhere in the world, instantly. No banks, no waiting, no 2% international fees. It works 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Whether you are buying a book or settling $1 million contract, the process is the same, fast, cheap, and transparent. For global trade, for small businesses, for financial inclusion, USDC isn't just another payment tool. It could be a foundational layer of a new kind of open financial system. Imagine what this means for global trade. In the past, sending money overseas meant high fees, slow processing, and constant paperwork. Businesses had to wait days for settlements, and sometimes they were stuck with currency fluctuations or payment failures. But with USDC, money moves at the speed of software. You click send, and it's done. Small businesses can now trade across borders like never before. Freelancers can get paid instantly from anywhere. Even big corporations can cut costs and reduce financial friction. And because it's all recorded on the blockchain, every transaction is transparent, traceable, and auditable. That means fewer disputes, less corruption, and much faster growth. But what happens to countries that aren't the United States if people in Europe, Asia, or Africa start using USDC for trade and daily payments? What happens to their own currencies? Central banks lose control. They can't influence interest rates, they can't print money, and they can't manage inflation like before. Worse yet, they lose seigniorage, the profit they make from issuing currency. Because when people use USDC instead of euros, yen, or pesos, the value flows not to national banks, but to a private American company called Circle. It's like outsourcing your entire monetary policy to Silicon Valley. Now, think about what this means for the United States. With USDC, the US gains more than just economic efficiency. IT gains programmable control over money. The company that issues USDC Circle follows US laws and regulations. That means the US Treasury can request to freeze any wallet at any time. No need for court orders. No need for SWIFT, just code. This turns the US dollar into a precision-guided financial weapon. If a country, a company, or even a person becomes a target, they can be cut off from the financial system instantly. It's fast, silent, and invisible. And that changes the game of global power. But here's the trade-off. If every transaction is traceable, analyzable, and controllable, then nothing is private. The books you buy, the donations you make, the causes you support, they're all recorded. Even your spending patterns can be analyzed by algorithms and flagged as suspicious or unusual. With USDC, financial surveillance becomes built in, not optional. And this isn't just theory. USDC smart contracts already include functions that allow wallets to be frozen or burned. You don't need to be arrested. You don't need to go to court. You just wake up one day and find your money doesn't move. USDC operates through smart contracts, automated programs that define how money can move. These contracts include special functions that allow Circle to freeze or even burn coins. That's not a bug, it's part of the design. Circle says it's for stopping fraud or complying with law, but code doesn't think. It just follows orders. If a regulator somewhere pushes the wrong button, or an algorithm flags you incorrectly, your money can disappear. No bank manager, no appeal, no warning. You still own the wallet, but the coins inside become unusable, locked by invisible rules. So what happens to Bitcoin if USDC becomes the standard for everyday payments? Bitcoin probably loses. It's too volatile. It's too slow. USDC is just more practical. It's stable, regulated, and easier to use. But Bitcoin still has something USDC never will. Decentralization. Nobody can freeze your wallet. Nobody can reverse your transaction. That makes Bitcoin less of a currency and more of a lifeboat. A backup for when the main system becomes too restrictive. In a world of programmable money and centralized control, Bitcoin may survive as a last resort, not because it's better, but because it can't be stopped. Now let's look at the big picture. A world that runs on USDC would be faster. Payments would be instant. Corruption would drop. Money laundering would get harder. Governments could track tax flows in real time. Disputes would be solved with transparent data. Everything would be clean, efficient, orderly, but maybe too clean. What about gray zones? What about people who rely on informal networks, or spontaneous kindness, or private help, or underground economies that keep some communities alive? If every dollar is programmed and traced, those fragile systems could vanish, not because someone outlawed them, but because the system simply doesn't allow them to exist. Technology is not good or bad, it's a tool. USDC might make payments faster, reduce fraud, and increase transparency. It could help global trade, support economic inclusion, and make governments more accountable. But it also centralizes power. It makes control easier, and it makes dissent harder. The same features that fight crime can also suppress protest. The same code that prevents theft can also deny access. That's the paradox. The more perfect the system, the more dangerous it can become. We're not choosing between good and evil. We're choosing between different kinds of control. So before we build a future around USDC, we should ask, are we making a freer world, or just a more efficient cage?